All right, let's dive right into this explainer. If you've got houseplants, you already know the fiddle leaf fig is literally the undisputed, famously dramatic diva of the plant world. One day, it's looking absolutely stunning in your living room, and the next, it's dropping leaves just because you looked at it the wrong way. But keeping this notoriously finicky plant thriving doesn't require some magic touch. It just requires understanding exactly what it needs. Welcome to the ultimate survival guide for the fiddle leaf fig. We're going to build your plant care knowledge from the ground up today. We'll start by meeting the dramatic fiddle leaf, perfecting its light and environment, mastering water and soil, surviving summer and winter, pruning for that perfect shape, and finally, defeating pests and rot. Section 1. Meet the dramatic fiddle leaf, a rainforest giant. So what's really wild about this quote from the plant experts at Garden is that your delicate little houseplant, it's actually an African rainforest tree. Out in the wild, these things shoot up to 40 feet tall. But here's the real secret to understanding them. They're understory trees. They live their whole lives beneath a massive canopy of 100-foot mahogany trees. Because of that, they've adapted to use those huge, gorgeous leaves as literal giant solar panels, just trying to capture whatever ambient light filters through. Thinking of those leaves as solar panels, that's going to completely change how you care for them. Section 2. Perfecting light and environment. Mimicking the tropics. To get those giant solar panels working perfectly in your living room, these plants absolutely crave bright, indirect light. Plunking them right in front of or super close to a southern or western window is the absolute sweet spot. You definitely want to avoid scorching, direct, hot sun, because that can literally sunburn the foliage and leave you with these crispy, brown, dry patches. And because those solar panel leaves will aggressively reach for whatever light they can get, you've got to rotate your tree about once a month. If you skip this, it's going to start awkwardly leaning heavy to one side. Oh, and don't forget to wipe those leaves down with room temperature water every few weeks. Dust blocks the sun, and clean panels mean a healthy, photosynthesizing plant. Section 3. Mastering water and soil, the invisible killer. Now, you might think you're doing absolutely everything right, but your tap water could secretly be poisoning your plant. Seriously. Take a place like the Salt Lake Valley in Utah. The tap water there regularly exceeds 15 grains per gallon of hardness. To put that in perspective, that heavy mineral content picked up as the water travels through mountain limestone is a massive invisible threat to those sensitive tropical roots. So, let's break down this tap water threat. Municipal water usually packs high chlorine or chloramines, and that can easily burn sensitive roots. Plus, heavy minerals just slowly build up in your soil over time. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'll just use my home water softener. Wait, stop right there. The experts at Utah State University Extension specifically warn that water run through a softener replaces those heavy minerals with salt, and salt buildup is highly toxic to plants. It causes terrible growth and severe toxicity. So using a whole house filter that strips out chlorine and minerals without adding salt, or just using filtered, non-softened water is a literal game changer for your plant's survival. All right, check out our Plant Clinic cheat sheet here. It's going to help you instantly diagnose your plant's watering issues. If your leaves are turning yellow and just dropping off, you're probably overwatering, and the poor thing is drowning or getting root rot. On the flip side, if the leaves have crispy brown edges, you're underwatering. But look at this third one, red freckles or blisters on new growth. This is called edema. It happens when you water a super thirsty plant way too quickly. The roots pull up moisture so fast that the cells in the leaf tissue actually burst. Crazy, right? To avoid all this drama, let the top few inches of soil dry out completely, and always make sure your pot has a drainage hole so your tree isn't sitting in a swamp. Section 4. Surviving summer and winter, seasonal shifts. Even though they live indoors with us, they absolutely still feel the seasons. Taking them outside for the summer can be incredibly invigorating for them, but as the experts remind us, it requires a very specific, careful transition to avoid completely stressing the plant out. Let's compare these seasonal shifts. In the summer, if you do move them outside, you have to gradually acclimate them. Start them in full shade for a few days before bringing them into dappled light, and always protect those giant leaves from the wind, which will just dry them right out. Now, what about winter? A really common misconception is that they go fully dormant indoors. Actually, scratch that, they don't. The biggest threat in winter isn't the freezing cold outside, it's the bone-dry forced air blasting from your furnace. To fight that, you're going to want to run a warm mist humidifier within a few feet of your plant to replicate that muggy rainforest moisture. Section 5. Pruning for perfect shape, directing the growth. Eventually, if you're doing all this right, your tree is going to grow, and you have to dictate its shape. Whether you're going for that tall, cleared-out lollipop look with a bare trunk, or you want a shorter, bushier shrub, here's how you do it. Step 1. Always sterilize your shears with isopropyl alcohol so you don't introduce nasty diseases into an open wound. Step 2. Find your invisible height line. That's the absolute max height you want the plant to reach, and locate a node just below it. Step 3. Make a sharp, clean cut. Snapping off the top actually forces the plant's growth hormones downward, which encourages it to branch out into 2 or 3 brand new stems right below where you cut. And finally, step 4. Do not throw that top branch away. Pop that cutting into some regularly changed aerated water, and boom, you can clone a brand new fiddle leaf fig.
Section 6. Defeating pests and rot. The big 3 threats.
Even with pristine watering, perfect light, and expert pruning, your rainforest giant might still attract some uninvited guests. You've got to constantly inspect for the big 3. First up, spider mites. If you see thin, silky webbing and tiny dark dots that move, yeah, that's spider mites. Fight back by literally taking the plant outside and blasting them off with a strong spray of water. Second, mealybugs. You're looking for a wet, cottony residue hiding in the little crevices where the leaves meet the stem. A Q-tip dipped in rubbing alcohol, dabbed right on them, will neutralize them on the spot. Finally, fungus gnats. These highly annoying little flyers lay eggs in moist topsoil. Honestly, just letting your soil dry out completely between waterings is usually enough to evict them for good.
But hold on, before you go nuclear and break out the insecticidal soap for every single bug you see, take a closer look. If you spot a pill bug or a roly-poly crawling near your pot, just leave it alone. These friendly little guys are beneficial scavengers. They actually eat dead, decaying plant material and naturally create a mild trace mineral fertilizer right in your soil. They're totally harmless helpers.
So, what does this all mean? Ultimately, keeping a fiddle leaf fig alive and thriving isn't really some grand mystery. It's just a matter of closely mimicking its natural rainforest habitat right inside your own living room. Give it the filtered light of the canopy, the pure water of a rainstorm, and the high humidity of the tropics. Armed with all this knowledge from today's explainer, what specific changes are you going to make to your plant care routine right now?